Welcome to the Soft Life with Saddie Baddies. Saddie Baddies is the antidote to mental health stigma, and this podcast is hosted by yours truly, Priscilla O. Adjaman. We are a virtual sanctuary centering Black and multiracial people, and we prioritize the mental and emotional nourishment that is the foundation of collective healing in our communities. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, everyone. Hi. Welcome to the living room. This is Saddie Baddies' original live event series. And if you've ever been to a Saddie Baddies event, our goal is to always make it feel like you're in your home, but with us. As you know, we are the host of the Soft Life podcast. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we wanted to come back bigger and better, obviously. And what better way to do it than in community, in person, and have you join us. So thank you all for being here. I'm so excited and thrilled to have you. So today we have two incredible and special guests with us. We have the incredible Sharifa Murdock Laura Welcome. So we're so happy to have you here. And for any of you who are new or unfamiliar, we have two incredibly driven, empowering women who are trailblazers. We have Sharifa Murdock, who is the Chief Visionary Officer. She is the founder of Envision Festival. She's also the Chief Impact Officer at KIT, and she has an incredible history and career going back from fashion and actually co-founding her own global business ventures, as well as a lot of other philanthropic projects and initiatives. So we're so excited and happy to have you here with us, Sharifa.
Thank you.
And then we have Laura Stylez, the one and only. So Laura Stylez is a multifaceted media personality, curator. She is also the media personality and voice that you hear on Hot 97 Radio in New York City. And Laura is also the director of Envision Festival. And these two women are actually role models to me. They are people that I look up to. I'm inspired by them, by their journeys, their truth, their honesty, and just the grace and poise that you do it all as mothers, as women who are in your own industries, and also creating something for the future. So thank you again. Let's give it up for Laura. Okay, so just before we get started, we are recording live, so just be mindful of any noise, or if you have to go up or go to the bathroom, just, if you could be mindful of your neighbor and just the noise level, because we're live. One take. So let's get started. So Sharifa, can we start with you?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. So could you take us back to your younger years and share some of the interests that you think were planting the seeds of what you are and what you do today?
Oh my God. How young are we talking?
As young as you can remember.
Okay. I think it just all started with me loving clothing. Like, I used to love getting dressed in the morning. I would get dressed to go nowhere. And my family used to make fun of me. I wanted to gain whatever it is that I had. My dad was like, if you want something, I used to go to the mall. And when I went to the mall, I would be like, I'll come back and I would say, I just want 10 items. And he'll be like, 10 items? Like, what are you trying to get? And I was like, 10 items. And back then, Guess was the hottest thing ever. And I would want Guess socks, Guess jeans, everything. And he was like, you have to work for what you want. So that's kind of where it started with me really having this passion for working and doing for myself. It was more about not just getting things handed to me. It was more about earning what you had to get. And I think that's where it started. It was really important to just have my own. Yeah. Living in Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn, if anyone grew up in Brooklyn back in the day, you knew you had to get fly. And that was just what it was. But what I do was really corny. Yeah. At least today, I feel like, it was just, today we have like these stores that you can look good in anything.
Yeah.
Back in the day, people knew. Like people were like, yeah, she got the no frills on or whatever. And I didn't want to be the no frills girl, so I used to work really hard to get everything I wanted. And my first job started with like a paper route. I mean, you guys are young, so I was on a bike.
Oh, wow.
And I used to like throw papers on people's porches. And that lasted all about 2 weeks. And then my father was throwing the papers from his car. It was just a mess. But that's where like my passion for working was. So that's how I started.
It sounds like there was also some grit involved in there too, like just knowing that if you wanted something, you had to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Do you think that was also something that contributed to your work ethic?
Yeah, 1000%. Like my dad is from the military, and he wasn't playing no games. And my mom is West Indian, and for all you guys that have West Indian parents, it was very much Conway. It was very much Bobby's, Flatbush, big up. All of those kind of stores. And if you didn't want that, you wanted the Guess, the Timberlands, the name brand, the Ralph Lauren, everything like that. You had to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Laura, what are some of the pivotal moments that you can think back in your early childhood or even your adolescence that contributed to some of the career choices or even life choices that you have today?
Okay, let me see. So I grew up in Los Angeles, and my parents are immigrants from Guatemala. And so growing up, we didn't have much. We lived in a cramped one-bedroom apartment. Like when I tell you paycheck to paycheck, boy, it was even tighter than that sometimes. So I know what it is to not have, right? So it was really, really difficult. And I also, too, growing up, I was always wanting to be, like, I wanted to be, like, man, trying to explain to my father that I wanted a pair of sneakers that cost $85, he was looking at me like I was insane. Like, he was like, what are you saying? You're going to take these kegs. You know what I mean? You're going to take these Payless shoes. So, like Sharifa, I was always trying to find, like, odd jobs, right? Because I love sneakers so much to buy my shoes. But it also taught me, like, a big lesson, right? First of all, you got to work your ass off to pay for these shoes. Then after handing over the money, I remember being like, damn, man, this was a lot of work. You know what I mean? So it taught me a lot of lessons, and it gave me a lot of appreciation to what my family was going through at the time and understanding. But so I grew up in community programs, whether it's free lunch or, you know, whatever the after-school programs, the community programs are that raised me, which helped me understand what it meant to have, like, a community. And which I look back and I had some of the best times in those community programs. That is really what planted seeds into what Envision is. Yeah. And so back then I was just a fan of music. I couldn't break dance, I couldn't DJ, I couldn't rap, but I loved it so much, and I just wanted to be a part of it. And honestly, like, till this day, I'm still a fan. Like, really, that's what really drives me. And then I just remember just saying, like, you know, if you do what you love, if you find something you're passionate, if you do what you love, you're never gonna have to work in your life, you know? So I always used to remember that. And I remember working a lot of odd jobs like Sharifa. Like, I was working at a dry cleaners. I was anywhere I could get a job. You know, I was doing, like, walking dogs. Like, I worked at a shoe store. I worked at retail. Oh God, I did retail. I did a lot of retail. But you know, because that's the jobs I could get as a teenager. And I remember hating it. I hated it, and I was like, I can't wait till I do something cool. So my whole purpose was like, I'm gonna get a job in music. Even though I can't do I was like, I can't sing, I can't dance, like, what am I gonna do? So I just remember when I listening to the radio and being like, and hearing the women on the air, and I was like, oh my God, the coolest job ever. Like, that's what I wanna do, how do I do that? So I just became obsessed with the business of radio and how it works. And back then I was like looking at going to the library and checking out books because, you know, we weren't really on the net, you know what I mean? But I was just obsessed with it, and honestly, that's what planted the seed to become who I am today.
So it's all these little micro moments that build up into shaping who you are today. And that just reminds me of, you know, some of the advice we hear sometimes in retrospect is leaning into those passions that we have. Like, people sometimes when they get older, they get lost and they don't know what they want to do, their career path, and then sometimes you'll hear, well, what did you like to do as a kid? What were you inspired by? And it sounds like that's what you both followed that thread throughout and brought you here today, which is very inspiring. So Sharifa, can you share with us can you share with us some advice that you would give to your younger self? If you had the knowledge that you had today, what is a piece of advice that you would tell 15-year-old you?
Be more confident in yourself, believe in yourself. I think when you're growing up as a teenager, and it's even worse today, I think that there's so much doubt, right? You don't know who you are. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. I think everyone's learning as they go. And I remember just wanting to be liked. And I think in life, we all want to be liked. And I think that that's how this social media era came up, right? So it's like, the like thing was big for me. And I wanted to make sure like everyone liked me, so I tried to do so much. And if I was to sit down with my younger self today, I don't know if I can say this, but I'd just be like, fuck it. Like, straight up, like, it's not worth it. I don't mean to like be rude, but it's just like,
that's the truth.
You know, who you are at 15 is not who you're going to be at 21. Who you are at 21 is not who you're going to be at 30. Who you are at 30 is not who you're going to be at 40. And as you get older, your friends start to kind of disappear. And some you keep, and some may leave you may leave them behind. And it's okay. I used to have a fear of the disconnection of friendships. I'm a person that don't like change. So having that fear for me was like, it gave me anxiety. Like my stomach would hurt. If someone was like, Sharifa, I don't like you this week because you did so and so, I'd be like, well, why? What did I do? Or if someone just stopped speaking to me, I would be like, well, why are they speaking to me? What did I do? Instead of being like, fuck them. Like, what do you care? If you know you didn't do anything, and you really feel deep in your heart that you didn't do anything, why do you care? Also, if you did something, have a conversation about it. What I realized as an adult is, if you're not an adult enough to have a conversation with me about something that I did or you felt that I did incorrectly, we are not supposed to be friends. So what I would say is, have more confidence in yourself, and you don't need people like that in your life. You know, because I think so many of us walk around with this, you know, we love friends, we love our homegirls, we love this. But once you start getting married, having a boyfriend, having other friends, your friendships and your level of life changes. Kids, it's just different. And I think that you just have to leave certain things behind that aren't good.
I love that. So Laura, were there any challenges or obstacles that you had to face in your early years that significantly influenced your growth, your journey, and if so, how did you navigate those challenges?
Oh my God, of course. I was broke. Plain and simple. I know everybody is like, yeah, I've been there, I'm going through it. But yeah, I was broke. My family was struggling. So I was always like, how, you know, I felt like I had to figure things out on my own, right? And I learned the difference between need and want really early. And and let me tell you, it's okay to want. It's okay to want, and obviously we all need, right? But at first I used to feel guilty. I used to feel guilty for wanting things. I used to feel guilty, wow, you know, and I still do. Like right now, I could tell you that sometimes I'll be like, buy this purse, man, but I could put this money to good use. I could probably pay some bills. I could probably do this. And I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to treat yourself. If you work hard, you have to treat yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do things that make you happy. Because you can say you should be responsible with your money, right, for a rainy day, because God knows it saved me. You know, there was times where I didn't have a job for like a year, and my savings literally paid for that rent, took care of my bills until I figured out what I wanted. So I'm a big Sharifa actually, coming up together, she was, the reason why me and her are such good friends is like, she would sit me down, and she was my one friend, would be like, how's your credit? Ooh. Are you saving? Ooh. What's happening? And I was like, I owe this and this and this. She's like, no, we're going to consolidate, and this is what we're going to do. Here's this big program, here's this. And honestly, nobody else was teaching me that. My parents were trying to survive. They come from another country. They're still trying to understand what it is to live in the United States. You know what I mean? So I didn't have that knowledge. And I know anybody here who's, you know, first generation knows what I'm talking about. So I was trying to understand, like, how do I become, I don't want to say better, but better than my parents, but how do I excel? And honestly, like, that's what, things like that, like, just taught me so much. And I appreciate that, because till this day, you know, I don't owe anything, like nothing major. Yeah, I had, but for the most part, I'm very responsible with my finances, and it's not always like that. Like I remember me having like, I got $20 for the rest of the week. How can I feed myself? We've all been there, right? It's reality. We all go through it, and it's okay. It's growing pains. But what are you going to do in that to get not to land there again and again and again and again? And that's really what you have to remember. But yeah, I mean the whole financial thing was a big thing for me because it also made me insecure.
Yeah.
It made me insecure. It made me like I didn't have like. And not having sometimes makes you feel a little left out,
The financial anxiety.
Yeah. And then, and the guilt that comes with that. But you learn that it's okay, and I tell my little sister who's like also a bit of a spender, I have to have that talk with her. I'm like, hey, buy yourself the shoes that you want because you work hard and you deserve to treat yourself, you deserve to feel good. But be responsible. To make sure you have a little something because at the end of the day, not everyone can go back to their parents' home.
Right.
That's not everybody has that option. And even if you do have the option, you probably should try not to do it. You know what I mean?
I want the option.
But that was a big thing, coming up. That was a big insecurity that I had to really like navigate through that and learn.
Yeah.
And also, celebrating individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Like what makes you special? Like Sharifa, I wanted to be in the in crowd, but I just, I wanted to make sure, and like I feel like you guys now do a beautiful job of celebrating who you are.
Yes.
And that makes me super happy. Like we celebrate like being an individual, like whatever is your you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that we weren't really taught that back in the days. It was about fitting in.
Yeah.
And I love to see everyone who like thinks outside the box and like is comfortable with themselves, with the way you dress, the way you look, the choices, whether you're thrifting or nowadays they see everybody with like a little thrift outfit and their little Prada shoes, you know what I mean? Or whatever, however you want to mix it match. It doesn't even have to be designer.
Yeah.
But you make it look good. And I think that's something that should be celebrated because celebrating individuality and looking at yourself and being happy with who you are is so important.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom there, especially with the financial anxiety, but also really what stuck out was the conversation that you've had with each other and a real friend holding you accountable, being like, sis, put the credit card down.
Yeah.
Let's work out a plan. And then also not only that, it's sharing resources so that you could navigate that and move forward.
I think
Sure.
I think so many times we don't share enough resources as females,
Right.
and that's just as females in general. Like I've gotten a lot of knowledge from a lot of males, right? So whatever I got coming up, me and Laura would have like meetups once a month, or whatever the case may be. As we were both struggling. But I'll be like, did you hear about this, or did you do this? And we'll just like, be talking to each other and just trying to make sure that we were both good because, there was no one informing us. Like, I'm going to agree with Laura, like, this generation, your generation is so different, but it's so dope because you guys have so much access and you guys talk to each other more. Whereas everything was a secret. We were taught what happens in your house stays in your house. Whatever's your personal business is your personal business. Don't tell your friend this, don't tell your friend that, right? But that just made us very tight-lipped and we had like a lot of emotional trauma and nobody was talking about it. And I think that with the financial conversation with me and Laura, it was more like, we gotta figure this out because we do not want to be our parents. God bless our parents, they did what they can do. We want to try to be better. And I think that's what it was.
And I think one thing that Sharifa touched on friendship, which I think is really important because yes, friends come and go and it's okay. And I always think it's a big deal because it's okay to let go of things that don't serve you anymore. And not even in a negative way.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you don't have to hate people. It's just, they're just not for you anymore and it's okay. But I will tell you this, like sisterhood has been so important to me because in my career, a lot of males like Sharifa have stepped up and really when I tell you I've been blessed with incredible men that have fought for me, advocated for me, financially empowered me with jobs and wisdom. But having like a sister like that really, really loves you for who you are is gold. Like I have a very few that have been with me through all the seasons, but just know when you have a friend that really sees you for who you are and just sees you for the friend that you are, just hold on to that and nurture that friendship.
And also pay attention to the ones that do see you for what you can do for them. Like that's a very, very important lesson that I had to learn. You know?
Yeah.
Because just because you're doing something for, see the people who are going to call you if you don't pick up the phone and call them. See the people who are like, hey girl, come out, let's go out, and you don't got to pay for them. See that, like. I fell victim to all the time because I'm just that person. Oh, I'll do it. Oh, I'll do it. Oh, let me see how my girlfriend is doing. But when you stop, and I think if anything taught me anything, it was probably during COVID. When you stop calling people, see who's checking for you. You know, I think that's something that's a very powerful message, right? Like, it's funny, I heard a meme today, a guy was talking about it. He was like, in today's world, it's like, you know when somebody ain't messing with you no more. They're not sending you any memes. Right or wrong. Like, if that's that mean person, if they not talking to you anymore, they not, we got me. They're not TikToks. Exactly.
Let me tell you, during COVID, I had just had a baby. I was trapped in my apartment. I was sick as hell. Sharifa comes with gear on. I asked everything to drop off. Her mom's or auntie's ginger concoction to help me get better. Like literally dress at the door and runs. But friendship is though people who care about you. Like it doesn't have to be events. It doesn't have to be, you know, it literally, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you good? Can I, you know, can I share something with you? Like whether it's a meme or whatever, or like split a meal or go to like, let's go grab a slice of pizza, or you know who your friends are. You know the ones who really care about you. And those are the important relationships that you should always hold tight.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Gems on gems. Well, so let's talk about your current, where you are right now, present, career-wise, personally. And Sharifa, we can start with you.
Sure.
Can you share a moment, specifically in your career, where you had to take a risk or kind of step outside the box and carve your own lane, and how you went about that?
I would say it was really interesting because I worked at a trade show for a long time, right? I would say at least 10 years. And I started that trade show. And I will never forget, it was really important for me. They just wasn't treating me the right way. And I knew they weren't treating me the right way, but you know how you don't want to leave a job and you're like, girl, I need this job, right? And the guy who started the trade show with me, he had left, we sold it, blah, blah, blah. He said to me, I want you to be my partner in this next trade show. And I was so scared because I'm like, who's gonna follow me? Like, you know, I had started this trade show, the trade show sold and made a ton of money, but I was working there, I was an employee. And I think taking that big leap of faith and starting the trade show with my business partner, who was my mentor at the time, and who had invested so much time in me and like nurtured me to be the kind of business person I am today, was that big leap, right? Because I could have left and nobody could have went with me, and nobody could have, been like, no, I'm gonna stay right where I'm at. And I'm gonna tell you, when I left that trade show, it felt so good because people were like, oh yeah, we're done. Let's go. Where you going? Let's go. And that to me, that gave me value. That gave me, you know, the power to know my worth in this industry. Because it's not a black woman that helped me. It wasn't a white woman that helped me. It was a white Jewish man. You know, and I grew up working with this person, but that moment in time I will always remember because he believed in me. And we were at a dinner, I would never forget, with this guy that we were all friends with. And he was like, I can't believe you guys are doing another trade show. He had said that to my business partner at the time. And I was like, and my business partner goes, yeah, I would never do it without Sharifa. I would be done. Like, and he said that. He was like, I would have been done, but I want to do this with Sharifa. And that made me feel like, wow, you know? Because, you know, who is going to trust a 20-some-odd-year-old girl, black woman from Brooklyn?
Yeah.
And that's how I've always felt, like, yo, I'm just this little black girl from Brooklyn. Like, but somebody believed in me that much to give me that power. So that's where my, you know. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Taking that leap of faith, and also, you know, you can take a leap of faith, but if you have someone that's investing in you and sees you for who you are and can see even the parts of yourself that you may not even see at the moment, that is so powerful.
Yeah.
So Laura, we know that you have worked with and curated events and productions for some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, ASAP Rocky, Future, Summer Jam Festival. I mean, the list goes on and on. And when it comes to networking, especially in today's like digital age, it can be a little bit tricky. But what advice or what are some insights that you can share of how you've navigated networking in a professional landscape and also in today's digital age?
You always have to evolve. You have to make sure that you're always paying attention on to what's happening. I've seen a lot of people kind of get stuck in their ways, and eventually they get left behind. So you have to make sure you evolve. And I think one of the things that helped me is my ability to help other people. So a lot of my OGs, let's say, and I have, there's, shout out to Sabrina who's in here, but I have like different people, younger people, be like, hey, do you know about this? Do you know about this? And Sharifa and I are big, just really big on listening to see what's happening, because I'm not on all social media platforms 24/7. I don't know what the next trend is. I don't know what I have to do. But I remember telling an Angie Martinez, telling a DJ Enough, or hey, you gotta get on this new thing called Instagram. It just started, but I feel like it's gonna be the next big thing. Like DJ Camilo, I was like, get on it. I remember making his account and be like, this is gonna be for you. Or when TikTok came, telling my artist friends, like, you guys should just sign up. Just get your name, at least you have it. And things like that now, you guys, like, put us on. And to me, it's like, you have to listen and just pay attention. And then I also find what's right for me, right? Like, I'm not gonna be doing TikTok dances because that's not who I am. You know what I mean? I like watching you guys. But you find your little ways to showcase who you are in your way. But really, like, listening and learning what to do and what not to do is very important. Pay attention, because nobody's perfect. We're all kind of just going and making mistakes as we go along. You're gonna fall 1,000 times. It's how you get up and you try again. Yeah. And really, that's really what it is. And trust, because you're only. I can say sometimes, that saying, you're only as good as your last show. You're only as good. It's yes and no, because yes, they'll remember the last thing you did. Was it successful? Did you fuck up? Was it a disaster? Do people hate you because of it? Did you set the roof on fire? They'll remember that, right? And trust me, people will always remember the worst parts of it, right? You've done a million things right, and they'll remember that one time you fell on your face. But whatever, you have your resume of great projects that you've been successful, the people you've worked with, so take pride in that. I take pride in my relationships. I take pride in all the lessons I've learned. But the reality is like, I am very proud of my relationships with people, and I've always made sure that if I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and I do it to the best of my ability, because that's the only way you are going to grow. And it's really important. Like, I remember hearing people talk about, that person's flaky, don't mess with her. Damn, but she's so talented and she's great, but that person, too flaky. And I thought, that's it. She lost a big deal. You know what I mean? A deal that was on the table and that she was considered for, and she just lost it because she's flaky. You never want to be that person. You never want to be that person. So if you sign up for something, just make sure you can. Make sure, can I do this? Yes, I feel like I can do this. Will you make mistakes? Maybe, but you gotta try. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, show up.
But I think also just simple things as being like punctual, being reliable, just delivering, you know what I mean, meeting deadlines, that still is really, really, really important. And I think that a key in my career was also not only like learning from my OGs, but also like giving them tools so they can keep up, they can stay fly, they can stay current. And it was an exchange, because in exchange they were also teaching me the skills I needed to grow behind the scenes. But I just think it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you both. And you both are two women that I know are always promoting and always sharing the importance of mentorship. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are at the stage, maybe in their career or personal life, that they are seeking mentorship. They want a mentor. They're tired of going to the events and not really like meeting the right people, and want to seek out someone who can really help them along their journey. So what advice do you both have for someone who A, wants to seek out mentorship, and B, how do you think mentorship can help to or how does it affect one's trajectory in their career?
I mean, I would say the first thing is figuring out what you want, right? I think so many times people are like, I want you to be my mentor. Well, okay, what do you want, right?
Yeah.
Because I can be your mentor, and there's different levels of mentorship, right? So you can have a spiritual mentor, you can have a wellness mentorship, like, who are you and what do you want from it? I think that's the first thing people have to identify. Because when you ask somebody for their time, one thing people do not get back is time. So you don't want to waste somebody's time with nothing. You have to go in there with, listen, I like to be a dancer, and I think that you're the hottest dancer, and I want to learn how you got there. If you give me a conversation once a week and I come prepared with questions on what I want to learn from you, that is how you prepare yourself. But you can't go and say, I want to be a dancer, or I don't even know what I want to do, I just like music. And it's like, okay, so then where we at, you know? I think you have to be prepared. I think you got to put the onus on yourself. I think it's important because you are going to people that I'm assuming you admire, or they have a lot going on, and you want that information from them. I'm a big advocate. We both are a big advocate for mentorship because I had a mentor. I'm in the place where I'm at because of my mentor. Laura had mentors, right? So it's like, we also are a big advocate for teaching the next generation. At the end of the day, you guys are going to be raising us, right? You're going to be making the laws, you're going to be making the policies, you're going to be making all the decisions. So we need to educate you guys as much as possible to be able to take care of us and take care of our kids and the next generation coming up underneath them. So I think mentorship is huge, and it's a very important thing, and I don't think enough people do it enough. In today's generation, everybody's like, okay, you want a session, it's $150. It's like, what? It's like, you're not, that's insane. You're a hustler. And I'm not saying you have to give out information all day for free, but at the end of the day, you have to also believe that whatever is for you will come back to you. You don't need to get paid. I think people have lost, like, a sense for helping each other. And it's really unfortunate because we need help. We all need help. And that whole method of like, okay, you can pay me X, Y, it's just like, dude, I'm not saying you need to make money. Don't make money off of me. Make money off of the big corporation over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would prefer for someone, as long as you come respected with your information and you're ready to like really be prepared and really be serious, I will help anyone. My assistant Sabrina is like, wait, you do way too much. And I'm like, because if I don't do too much, who is? Do you understand? It's like, no one is going to help us. No one is coming in and rescuing us. No one.
I will piggyback on what she's saying. The number one thing I tell everyone too when it comes to mentorship, just like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Because if you want it bad enough, you're gonna tell me how this business works because you've done the research, right? I have so many people like, I want to do what you do, and I'll be like, so what do you think I do? And then when I ask them that, they're just like, oh, you hang out with rappers, you take pictures of rappers, you get to talk on the radio. I was like, do you know what it takes to talk for 5 hours every single morning and have people engaged every day? You know what I mean? Like that, like we're doing this now, and we're gonna do it for what, 30 minutes? You know what I mean? So it's like, and people don't understand like how the business works. When I started, I was obsessed with what I wanted to do. So I was like, what does it take for me to get there? What does the business of music and actual radio look like? What are the salaries like? Can I have benefits off of it? What do shifts look like? So I get people all the time telling me, I want to do this, or I want to get a sponsorship, I want to do this. Okay, so what do you have already? So I tell everybody, because like Sharifa says, we do a ton of stuff. Like, I take people who want mentorship. If you're serious, I know you're serious because you've done your work, you've done your research, and you're at the final stages where you need someone to give you that alley-oop. And I respect that. And because when I see people have done the work and who just need a connection, they're there and they just need a connection, it's with pleasure I will do that because I know that you're serious about your work, you know? And I think not enough people take time to really research the business that they want to be in. Because, like, you know, when people say, I'm a creative director, I'm like, all right, well, what have you created and directed besides your Instagram? You know, I want to see work. You know what I mean? I want to see work. Or a photographer or whatever. Like, a stylist. Everyone starts somewhere, right? But like, let's talk about it. Let's dig deeper into your dream because you want to make money, right? You want to survive. I think the thing that makes me the happiest is that I'm still doing what I love for a living. And I had to make sure I could make a living off of it.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can make a podcast now, but are you gonna make $1 million off of it? Are you gonna make 100,000? Are you gonna make 50? 10? 5? 1? You know what I mean? There's so many opportunities out there, but it's like that's why I say celebrate your individuality, right? Because people tell me all the time, like, oh, how did you get to where you're going? First, I started behind the scenes. I'm a producer first. I was a producer behind the scenes because I needed to understand how that works. How can I produce somebody to be their best? And that taught me how to be in front of a mic, but I know how everything runs. So when I'm in there, I know how I want it to sound. I know how I want it to look. I know what my production style should be like. So I didn't come in as a rookie and everybody's telling me what to do. No, I'm telling you what to do because this is gonna fit my style. And that's what honestly separated me from everybody else, because I was a producer and talent. And that made it so much easier for me. You know, people who start working behind the scenes, right? I want to be an actor. I started in tech first, you know what I mean? And then you get to see all the mistakes and, oh, I would do it this way or I would do it that way. I think that in the field that you want to be in, that's why I think internship is so cool. Because you actually are a fly on the wall and you get to see the actual business, you know what I mean? Or working as an assistant, you get to see things. And then a lot of times you can be like, yeah, this ain't for me. You know, like you thought, like, I thought I wanted to do that. Now I see that it's not really for me, and that's okay. And that's what you're supposed to do. But I always tell everybody when it comes to you want to be mentored, make sure you know you're passionate about something and you've done your own research and you know what you're doing. Because that person that you're asking, that person that you're knocking on their door, like they want to make sure that you're really serious because time is valuable.
Thank you. Well, now let's get into what your future selves would say. We're gonna tap into our crystal ball, look into the future for a minute. I want to discuss what you're both currently building and what you want to leave behind for the next generation. So, as the founder and director of the iconic Envision Festival, which we all know and love, truly, you have created a platform that celebrates and uplifts young women, young girls from all over New York City and beyond. You are literally going to Miami in the morning. So, you have transcended, the community aspect of Envision Festival and really spread it across the country, which is incredible. How do you envision the festival evolving and also contributing to the legacy that you both have started?
Oh, that's really easy because you always talk about it. We want a building. We want a building where young girls can come and just be them. Leave your phones at the door and come in and just be who you are. And also give you the tools, right? So the mentorship, the fun and games, the dance class, the everything. We want a building.
We're really inspired by the Lower East Side Girls Club.
Oh my God. We're obsessed with them.
Yeah, we're obsessed with them and we want a building. And you know what's dope is like their story is so ill. Like those women raised that money and made it happen.
Yeah.
And they inspire us,
Every
right?
day.
When I teach classes there periodically, and like what they built is so amazing.
So cool. If you haven't gone, you need to go.
And I was like, I look at these little girls like, I wish I would have gotten a chance to come here when I was like your age, because it's so dope. So that really, me and Sharifa already were on that tip, but that really lit a fire. Like we could do this, a safe space for young girls where you could go and like, they have a planetarium in there. They have a planetarium where they grow their own food on the roof, and they have like chefs come in and like teach them how to do healthy recipes, and like I come in and teach podcasting and intro to radio and how to produce segments on the show, and it's the coolest thing, and we're so inspired by it. And like back to my upbringing, I grew up on after school programs, and that's really what shaped me. So Sharifa and I always like to tell the story, like when we were coming up, we used to get together and Sharifa was like, all right man, I could get 50 backpacks. I could get something to donate this. I'm like, all right, well I can get this person to donate socks, or I could get this person to donate stuff, and we would all get together and find a place through friendships and have have girls from inner city youth come in, and we would give them like a little shopping spree for free.
Yeah.
So these are girls who don't necessarily can afford a new jacket, a new backpack, a new, you know, whatever, you know what I mean?
Shampoo,
Just
conditioner,
basic things that sometimes we take for granted, but we would do these things and we would be there, so we were so fulfilled. So fulfilled, so happy that we were able to do that. And we would bring in our friends who were doing cool things so they can see like an amazing black woman who's started off at a hair shop and now she's doing Rihanna's hair.
Yeah.
You know, like shout out to our friend Ursula.
Ursula's gem.
But you know what I mean? Like that was Sharifa's homegirl, you know what I mean? And she just brought her in at the peak of her career. And so we were just like, we have to continue. And that's really what planted the seeds of what Envision. Like, Alicia, she calls me and she's like, come over to my house. And she's like, I got it. And she shows me a spreadsheet and logos. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. And I was like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And we just took it and we're like, let's figure this out. And we created a plan. And we
been hustling ever
and trust me, we're learning as we go too.
Yes.
And it's very humbling because we've gotten a lot of no's. A lot of no's. All these brands that you see that are supporting us, like shout out to Rare Beauty and oh my god, because you know a lot of other makeup brands said no to us. Like stood us up and they didn't believe in our vision.
It's so unfortunate, I am gonna say.
But you know, just know that with everything that you see, a lot of people said no to us.
Yes.
A lot of people said no to us. Not only makeup brands, but just like, you know, sportswear, whatever. We have a lot of no's. It's humbling. It's humbling because, you know, we're like, who's gonna say no to the empowerment of black and brown women, young women? A lot of people are gonna say no. So it just goes to show you that we're still navigating and we're still learning and we're still asking. We're still very grateful for the ones who continue to come back and support us to help us with our vision. You know, and it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's a journey, but we're happy and we're fulfilled, and we have had like an amazing community. We have some friends of friends and people that have connected on social media. And any way we can, I always think about like, oh my God, okay, this person would be great for it. And I just try to connect. Like, if I can't help you personally, I'll figure out a way to connect you with somebody. Or like, you know, through our dinner series, like through hi Sarah, you know what I mean? Like, Sarah's a perfect example of someone that I saw online and saw her work, and I was like, oh my gosh, she'd be great. So we're gonna invite her and connect her with you and connect her with you. And that's really what it's about, like meeting people with a purpose. And don't get it twisted, like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to use this person. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's about learning with each other and
building.
And building.
It's very
and building.
We just want to build a real strong community where we can all connect with each other. That's it.
Love that. And we all know that you are two incredible women, businesswomen, but you're also mothers, both of you. And I would love to know how motherhood has influenced or shaped how you want to leave your legacy. Like, how has having a child of your own, what does that do for you in terms of the legacy that you want to leave behind?
So it's really interesting. I'll start just with the Lord's. For me, it was just different because it took me 10 years to have a baby. So I don't tell that story often, but I do think it's important to tell that story amongst young people. Just because, you know, we were taught to work. You need to work. That's what you got to do. And I was working so hard that I never took the time. Time goes by very quickly, right? So it took me 10 years to have a baby, and once I had my son, it changed my life. It changed everything. I thought I was going to have a baby, go back to work, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, we're doing the same thing. No. I'm tired. I'm just always tired. But it just also just puts things in perspective. Things are way less important as they were before, right? That's why I think that whole friendship thing came for me, because like I used to live and die for my friends. When I say I would do anything for my friends, I would. But once that individual comes into place, now I've formed like a rock triangle, like kind of like that. It's just him, myself, and my husband. That is the most important thing to me, right? Before it was like you have a husband, but you're also out, and you're also here, and you're also there. And you can still do all those things, but you start to realize what is really, really important, right? And the mere fact that you have this little person to take care of, that is the number one priority. Nothing else matters. He got sick yesterday. I left work. I was like, oh, gotta go. Packed up. I was like, I gotta go. You know, and my husband stayed home today. So for me personally, it was, I waited so long to have this bundle of joy, and he is a bundle, that everything for me has changed. Nothing is as important, and the legacy I leave is to showcase who I am as a person. I want him to grow up with the same integrity that I have. I want him to grow up with the same mindset that I have. His name is Legend. I named him that, not because it was trendy. I wasn't gonna allow someone to let him know who he is supposed to be. And that's how it was. And everybody was like, oh, you're so ghetto, like, why are you gonna do that? It has nothing to do with that. It's a meaning that I felt was very important for him, because I know he's gonna be somebody. And I want him to know that from birth. So that's where, like, I land with the whole having a baby thing. It was really important for me. I really wanted it. Me and my husband really wanted it. It took us 10 years to have it, so there's no complaining. I don't complain because there's nothing to complain about.
I will say, I was different.
She's different.
So
I talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, like I was a big advocate for women not having to have kids. And I still feel that way. You don't have to have kids to define you as a woman.
Yes.
And I feel like society puts this pressure on you, like you have to have kids. Once you hit an age, so when are you gonna have kids? Are you married? When are you gonna have kids? Why can't you just enjoy your relationship? Hello, you know what I mean? Like I've been with me and my man traveled the world before, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And like, oh, please travel, please, everyone here, travel. Travel. There's you can budget it out, and you can go to great places on a budget, and it will change the way you see life. I can't tell you enough. Get out there and see how everyone else is living. You will take bits and pieces. It will literally change who you are as a human being. And I became obsessed with traveling, so any chance I got, I was like, I'll go, you know? And I would make a wish list of countries I wanted to visit, and my partner was like, let's go. I was like, I want to go to Cuba, I want to go to Vietnam, I want to go to Japan, I want to go to, you know? And he was with it. But I was a big advocate on women not having to have children to define their womanhood, okay? And I meet this wonderful person who is who really wanted a lot of children. And I was like, well, I don't know what we're gonna do, you know? Because I was like, I wanted to just be fabulous, you know? And then I remember my OBGYN telling me, like, so what are you gonna do? I was like, I guess maybe I'll just freeze my eggs. And she was just like, it's a little old for that, you know? You gotta make a decision. It's game time. You're either gonna do it or you're not, right? And by the way, I'm a big advocate for women freezing their eggs too.
I agree.
And I think you should look into it when when it's your time, when you hit your 30s, because
20s. You gotta do it.
yes,
If your job is paying for it, do it now.
yes, and research it, because there's programs that can help you now. Now it's not so taboo coming up. Everyone's like, only white people can afford that. You know what I mean? Like, no. Please, because freezing your eggs just gives you an opportunity to make that choice later on in life, and it just opens up a lot of doors for you that I promise you will have less financial, like pain and stress and anyway, we can have a whole different pot about that, right? Yes, but so I ended up getting pregnant. I got pregnant, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm pregnant. Like, what now? And I had my baby, and obviously my baby is the most important thing, the center of my universe. I am in love with my child, and I do not want to have more. Because really, I think one thing that for me was very hard was like losing myself and losing my free spirit. You know how good it feels to just get up and go in the middle of the night if you want to go to the club, and like, you know what, I can't sleep, my friends are at the party at 1 a.m., I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? And like having that freedom, like, to do whatever you want with your life or with your partner, get up and go. Like, let's go to Puerto Rico tomorrow, you know?
The funniest thing, first year Laura has the baby, Laura goes away every Christmas. And I was like, I guess you're not going anywhere this Christmas. She was like, I know.
I literally, because it's the only time I can take off work, I will go away for 3 weeks.
Yes.
I'll go to I go to Thailand, and then from there I go to another country, and like it's my thing that I do. And yeah, it was very hard for me not being able to travel and being like, I can't get this kid sick, like I'm responsible for this human to stay alive. So it was really hard for me, but I'll tell you this, it was also very hard on my career because I am exhausted. And before I was able to go to all the events, I'll go to all the things, you know, and now I pick and choose. I really, really want to be somewhere and do something because I have a child at home that needs to be with, you know, taken care of.
Yeah.
And I got to get up in the morning and I got to do this. So it was different. It was a little difficult for me to adjust, you know, and I'll tell you the truth. Like I went through postpartum depression. It was really hard on me, like really hard on me. And I just, losing my sense of self was really difficult because I had been free for my whole life, you know? But you learn so much about yourself, and having a child is a beautiful thing. But do it when you're ready. Don't let anybody pressure you. Don't let your family pressure you. You know, and if you find a significant other, when your time is right, when it comes, like have fun with them. Like go, spend years with them, learning each other and traveling and doing cool things. Like because you don't feel like you have to succumb to like everybody else's expectations of who you should be. Like,
Thank you so much. We're gonna do a really quick rapid fire questions. It's really the first thing that comes to mind. No right or wrong answers. So ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with Laura.
okay.
Your dream guest at Envision Festival.
Oh.
Don't
even. Don't even. My dream guest in a bit, Beyonce. Of course, it would be Beyonce. But I mean, she would definitely be a dream. But honestly, like. I always, with Envision Festival, we're very strategic because we have to take away what we want and it's about what y'all want. So the reason I looked at Sharifa, because she'd be like, can we get Little Kim? I'm like, no, girl, we can't get Little Kim. We can't be here. So we always listen to I was like, who do you want to see? You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, someone like her would be amazing, or Rihanna, like a superstar. Like, you know, that would be amazing to have. That would be a dream. You said dream, so I'm dreaming.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharifa. Describe your morning routine in 5 words.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Baby. Legend. Gym. Nice shower. Phone call. Wait, is that 5?
Yep.
I was gonna say hard gospel music, preferred. Yeah, that's my morning.
Music
Every
therapy.
morning. Music therapy or Audible. I'm obsessed. You guys need to get on Audible if you're driving anywhere.
And my last question for both of you is, what does softness mean to you?
Softness, for me, is always massage. I'm being honest, I'm obsessed. Like everywhere I go, I have to get a massage, and it doesn't matter if it is the nail salon or it is ear, if it's anywhere. I get a massage everywhere I go. That's what it means to me.
I think for me it's being vulnerable. Yeah, it's you know, and it's something that I'm constantly working on because I always feel like I have to have some kind of like shield, make sure nobody's fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like I'm good, I'm ready to go. But also being vulnerable, like having moments with your friends where it's like I'm not okay today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had those moments the other day. I was in the street. I was like, I'm not okay. You know? And having somebody to listen and to understand and tell you like it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like I've had those moments with family members, with my partners, with my friends. And I'm a Scorpio, so you know I'm always one eyebrow up, like everything's fine. But no, everything's not fine all the time. So that's what softness means to me. And I'm at this stage of my life, I am still learning how to give myself grace. I'm still learning how to give myself grace, how to give myself the time I need, whether it's a massage, you know what I mean, or like just going to get a pedicure, or just honestly, just being in my apartment, just quiet. I cherish that because that doesn't really happen. I live such a hectic life, but just being able to give myself grace to be vulnerable and to just be honest of when things are not good.
Thank you so much, both of you. Let's give them a round of applause. So, questions from the audience. We don't have time for a lot, but we can definitely do a couple of questions. So if anybody has a question for Sharifa and Laura wants to ask, feel free. Okay, let's start with Renee and we'll go to Fatima.
So for you both.
So introduce yourself, speak out loud, and
Hi guys, I'm Renee Harrison. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I'm feeling so filled. The question that I have for you both is, in those times of major uncertainty, what helped to keep you grounded?
I guess just talking about it, you know, whether it's like, I have my moments where I talk through things in my head, but honestly, I'm calling Sharifa. You know, I'm calling my friends my rocks, you know, whether it's my man, I used to always kind of keep it to myself. And now I feel like there's power in just saying things out loud. Like, you know, even saying like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Like, I'm, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? But I think being able to just verbalize, finding words to say how you're feeling at that time. And if you're lucky enough to have a good friend and have a confidant, it's also good to be able to talk to somebody that makes you feel safe.
Yeah.
That makes you feel like it's okay. It is always going to be okay, no matter what. It really is. It's about how you navigate through things, but I think,
I agree.
yeah, I think that.
I'm big on just speaking to people at this point.
Yeah.
I'm the Torah. Holding stuff in is just not good. It makes you sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you need to just be always. I'm a very transparent person. So if I'm not feeling right about something, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Fatu, you have a question?
Yeah, hi, I'm Fatu. Thank you for your time. So my question is, you both seem like women who have a lot of interest and like to dabble in many things. As a multi-hyphenate, sometimes I get like idea paralysis where there's so many things I want to do, but I can't do them all, so I do nothing. And so my question to you both is like, how do you decide like what ideas are the things that you move on in this season? Like, are there things that you never that are future planning? Like, how do you decide like what's most important in the moment?
So I'm like a big planner.
Yeah,
Like,
she
I
is.
plan everything. I'm a planner. So what I would say, first start to do is just write everything down. Write everything down, and then after a while, it's going to dwindle on its own because you're going to be like, okay, I really want to do this, right? And when you start writing things down and seeing it visibly, some of the stuff starts to disappear. And it's important for you to really hone in on the one thing that you want to do. I'm a big proponent on you need to do one thing at a time, right? So before we did Envision, we both had jobs, right? And we still have our jobs, right? But we're good at our jobs. So now it's like, okay, now you can do Envision, and now we try to master Envision, right? And after we master Envision and getting our building,
Yes.
after mastering Envision and getting our building, it's like, what's next, right? So you just have to write things down and be very strategic because when things come to you, it's going to come to you. And whatever you ask for is what you're going to get.
I prioritize too. Like, yes, I learned from Sharifa. She's a big planner. I can be a little sporadic, but I have learned, you know what I mean? I'm just very logical, right? I'm always like, I have the tools to kick off A, some tools for B, and C is a dream, right? But C ain't going nowhere. We're going to be right there. Let me tackle this first because I know I can execute it. And then I'm going to work on B so I can get to C. So really that's how my brain works, you know? But Sharifa has taught me because she loves to write things down. And lately I've been taking little notes. And not necessarily on my phone, but like I'm writing a few things down. And there's something into like actually writing things down that makes you, I don't know, it makes me feel like I have to do it now because I wrote it down.
I love writing.
Yeah, it's and you know what else too that I found, like I talk for a living. Sometimes I'm just like, you don't want to talk about this anymore. But and sometimes I found peace into just like writing things out, whether writing about my day or something, just random thoughts that come into your mind or ideas. And I've gone back and remember like, forgot about this idea. This is a good one. How can I implement this into what I'm doing now? So like old school journals are so dope. Just get one, just write shit in them, how you feel. What made you feel a certain way, and you'd be surprised. Like going back, you're just like some things will make you smile. Some things like this is still happening, but you know what I mean. Like you kind of like you learn and you grow from yourself, which is cool.
I love that. Thank you.
We have one more question.
No, I didn't really too much question. It's more of just like a gratitude for like the realness, especially when you mentioned mentorships. Like I had a friend that tried to literally, like I've done things for her, free labor, done so much, and when I started my business, I asked her just to like kind of give me feedback. And she's like, well, I do this like mentor session for like $600. And I'm like, I've carried her drunk to bed before. I was like, I just like want your insight. And then I found a friend now that's my peer, but also is my best friend, has like mindset mentorship, and there's so much more respect and like the collaboration. But I just appreciate you calling that, because not many people, they're like, it's unattainable. So it's hard.
Thank you.
And some,
Yeah.
no, thank you. But some people think that mentorship is like, I'm gonna hold your hand, I'm gonna help you get a job. It's not always like that, you know what I mean? Like that's something you can't, like, you're asking me for our time. And listen, I had my last assistant, I was able to help her with a job, and now she makes more money than me, which makes me really happy, because I'm like, all right, when I'm older, you can take care of me. But, you know what I mean? But we worked together to help her, you know what I mean? And she was like prepared, like I knew what her strengths are, and she would call me for big decisions, and she still does. I'm like, you don't need me. She's like, yes, I do. But I just think that, it's just, you gotta be prepared.
Yes.
Be prepared, because people's time is really, really valuable. It's valuable. So when you come with that question, make sure that it's the question that you really want an answer to. Like that's not something that you could just figure it out on your own. Because you know how many times they're like, girl, have you even looked this up? No, but like, all right, man, you gotta do some work to get there.
Yeah.
You know, so just make sure you keep that, you know, keep that little gem.
Okay, we can do one more question, and then Tiara.
Yes.
Okay.
I can be the last question? Okay.
Yes, you can.
All right. Hi, I'm Tiara. I'm someone who has a 9 to 5, or as our generation likes to call it, corporate baddie. It is so amazing to see that you both still have like your careers, but also are entrepreneurs and like have such a passionate project like the Envision Fest. What advice do you have for someone like me who is maintaining a 9 to 5, to pay your bills and live her lifestyle, but is a creative who wants to pursue other endeavors? Like it sounds like from the tidbit that you gave, it's like you got really good at your job and being able to do that. You were able to also pour into the Fest, but what advice do you have?
It depends on what you want to do, right? I think that's where you first need to start, but you're also going to have to want to put the work in. Let me tell you, we are tired. I get up at 4 a.m. every morning.
Same.
She gets up at, she's the only person up with me. We be texting each other. Like, I get up at 4, and you also have to have regimen. It's like you have to have a routine. When you don't have a routine, you're a mess, right? And a lot of people, and it's a joke, I always say this, a lot of people suffer from anxiety, right? I think a lot of people suffer from anxiety because there's no structure, right? You have to have structure to be able to have that kind of like goal. So you can have a 9 to 5, but what are you willing to give up to do your entrepreneur job at the end of the day? It ain't no more dinners every night with your homegirl. It ain't no going to the club. It ain't no going out on a Saturday and Sunday. We're at home talking about a prom drive that we're doing tomorrow. You know, when I'm gonna drive home, she's gonna be in the car, and I'm gonna be like, I'm coming to get you at 8 o'clock because we're gonna. That's what it takes. It takes that. You have to want to do it, right?
We still have our 9
to 5. I work every day.
Yeah.
But we know that there is a greater good out there. Like we want to do something for the next generation. That is what our purpose is here on this planet. We want to make sure that if we leave tomorrow, we leave some sort of legacy that people are going to be able to continue that journey, right? It's important for us. So I think the question is always going to get turned back to you on how bad do you want it, and if you're willing to give up things to make it happen.
And keep your corporate job. Get those benefits. Because let me tell you, yes. Keep your salary, because at least you know that you have that, you know? But you know what you do after work? Work on your dream. What's your dream? What's your passion? You work on it. I know so many people who are 10 years into their project and nobody even knew they had a corporate job. Finally, they're able to live off their dream job, so they let it go. And that's, people don't showcase that part. That happens so much. It's so expensive to live. You know what I mean? So there is nothing wrong with what you're doing. But to Sharifa's point, you have to be passionate enough to take a second job. And that second job is your dream job. And you can do it. You could definitely do it.
We're doing it right now. I have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And this is my real passion. This is my life's work. And I think people also don't know that I have a corporate job. But it's literally like that hunger to like, this is mine. I need to build it. I don't care what it takes. Y'all saw how tired I am. Like, I'd be delirious. But I'm like, I gotta post. I gotta do this. I gotta send this email. I gotta do whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Because you know that you're planting the seeds for what is inevitably going to be yours. It's going to grow, and it's it's beyond just like what you can see in your day to day. So I encourage all the corporate baddies and the entrepreneurs too. You can be both, and that's the beautiful thing about being multifaceted and multi-hyphenate.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But thank you so much. Let's give it up again. Thank you so much for your incredible insight. This is so beautiful, so amazing. I would like to also give a huge shout out and thank you to Dos Catorce Productions. So grateful to this production. We literally couldn't have done this without them, and I'm just so proud of the work that we are doing here at Saddie Baddies, the Soft Life. We are really entering a new chapter, new phase, and you are all witnessing the next iteration of it. So I'm so excited, and I want to also just give a shout out to our sponsors, Rare Beauty, our gifting sponsors, Rare Beauty, Almay, Brown Girl Jane, Inside Then Out, Recess, Box Water, and I think that's Gem, our daily gems. And I'm just, again, thank you all for supporting, and thank you for being here. You all were handpicked to be here today. Truly, this was a private event, as you know, and I thought about the women who I'm inspired by, the women in my life that I might know in even just a social capacity at events or on social media, but each and every one of you inspired me in some way, and I'm so grateful to have you here. And of course, Sharifa and Laura, you know how much I love and appreciate and adore you both. Thank you so much. And we do have to give you guys your flowers, literally. So if we can bring out the little gift that we just have for you both. And thank you. Would love to send this.
To stay connected, join Saddie Baddies on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and more, and sign up for our monthly newsletter on SaddieBaddies.com to stay in the loop. Sending you hella love, and stay soft, baddie.